next up, we have a topic we've been wanting to talk about for a long time. We wanted to talk about some solo artists that we're fans of, and the kind of differences between what solo artists can offer versus groups and solo debuts and all that kind of stuff. So, Skylar, would you like to start us off?
Yeah. Okay. I'll just talk about my experience with solo artists. I don't really have any topic things or any little zingers to start us off. Don't know if I'm using that word correctly.
Zingers.
But anyway, my experience with solo artists is that I usually prefer them to groups. I love groups, but I don't have the same attachment. Maybe that's just because solo artists, it's just them. And I like that I'm able to see more of what they are, who they are as an artist and what they like. So for me, in K-pop or in K-RNB, K-hip-hop scene, I've been drawn to artists like PH1, Chungha, even lately, I forgot his name. Anyway, I'm trying to think of another. Yeah, BI. That's a good one. He went solo and with Illa Illa, and I really like that. And I'll be honest, and I hope I don't get any hate for this. Sometimes, yes, I do feel happy when they go solo from their groups. I do. I am that person. I'm like, I want them to stay in the groups and continue doing their thing, but I do usually like it when they, expand their horizons because you get more of who they are. So yeah, that's my interest in solo artists. And I think something I like to ask you guys is what your interest is in solo artists and what do you think it benefits an artist from a group, to go solo? Like if you could see someone go solo from a group that you guys like, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Do you want to go first?
Okay. I kind of brushed upon this earlier. So when I was talking to Skylar. So obviously my favorite soloist of all time out of Korea is the Lee Taemin. Okay. Love Taemin. And I think that he's been very successful in creating his image with SHINee and then his image as a soloist. Now, what's really interesting about him as a soloist is that he said he wanted to do more solo projects to make more fans of SHINee. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, I wouldn't have necessarily assumed that because his music to me is actually how I even got to know SHINee. Like, I was a Taemin stan first and then became a Schwal. So it worked. His theory really worked. It worked on me. But I was like, wow, that's different. I feel like a lot of people usually when they branch off from a group do it to make, something that's their own and that's the purpose of it. But that being said, I'm very much looking forward to Minho's solo work, which he just talked about that he was working on. Obviously, I've been waiting for 2 years for Jungkook's solo album. It's fine. They told us we're going to get Tae's first and not Jungkook's. So I'm just going to wait for that. And, it's fine. J-Hope's working on his second album. I think RM's working on his third mixtape. We'll see. I'm just, I'll just take what I get when I get it. But the one I was telling Skylar about earlier is actually Sunwoo from The Boys. Like, The Boys have started to work on a lot of solo projects and started releasing them on SoundCloud, as if you've watched SOCS, because we've reacted to a lot of them. And even on Kingdom this year, Sunwoo expressed his wanting to work on a different kind of sound than what The Boys sound usually is. He loves their concept, loves the group. I know that he'll stay with them, but I just see how much content he's been working on by himself and for himself. And I really do think that he wants to branch out and kind of find his own sound. And I'm so excited for him to try and do that. I really do want to see what he does because you know, he loves Bobby. He loved working with him. And I just feel like, you know, he writes, he's starting to learn how to produce. I feel like he's really going to become something like bigger, or not bigger, but like separate from the boys. Like I think Sunwoo has a lot of potential to do well, even if he were to pursue something closer to K hip hop.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see more Sunwoo stuff. I really liked Barry. I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I want it to be on Spotify so bad.
No, exactly. Like I think he's really talented. So I'm like, please, yes, invest in yourself. Invest in the boys because I love the boys, but invest in yourself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like a lot of soloists, especially in like I guess K-RNB. I mean, I love Chungha. We love Chungha. I love IU. But I think my favorite right now is Hoodie, who does like a lot of really interesting stuff. I love her collaborations with Cha Malone. I think he's like a great producer for her, and I think she's, you know, experimented with a lot of cool sounds. But she's also like pop friendly, but still like different. I love BB. She is so cool, and she's just doing so many cool things. But I actually really am a fan of bands. Just in general, I love bands. You know, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in a band. Like that's why I picked up guitar. Like I wanted to be a guitar player in a band really badly. And you know, I went through my Beatles phase like really hard. And I like, you know, the interactions and you know, the friendship, but also like the competition and the way you like build off of each other. And sometimes that makes, you know, really great art. And as a, you know, a filmmaker, I like to collaborate because, you know, you can't really, it's hard to make a film on your own. But I like making stuff on my own too. Like I think like my YouTube channel I do on my own is like just as rewarding as doing this podcast with you guys, but it's like a completely different creative experience, you know? So it's, you know, it's very interesting, but I guess if there's one person I want to see do a solo, it's definitely Seulgi. I have loved all of the Red Velvet solo debuts so far. I thought Wendy's was really great. I thought Joy's was really great. And I think that Red Velvet in a lot of ways reminds me almost like of a girl SHINee in a lot of ways. And I think that Seulgi could do a lot to be almost like, I don't want her to, you know, Seulgi's very much her own person. She could do a lot of different things, but if there's a comparison, I think, you know, she has the potential to kind of like, and I've seen other people say it, to kind of do something like Taemin and really like bring a separate audience, like a new audience that both loves Red Velvet and loves her solo stuff. And you know, because she's like a lead vocalist but not the main vocalist, we get to see her vocally shine. But you know, I would like to see it more. I'd like to see her dance like really hard, you know, and do something like the way Kai did. I thought he had such a great solo. I think EXO, they've all had really good solos.
His solo debut was amazing. Yeah.
Kai's was really good. And so I'd love to see Seulgi get that kind of treatment from SM. Hopefully soon. It would be really cool. And then who else? I thought, you know what? I have to say also Rosé's solo debut was really impressive. It was some, like on the ground was a little more of what I expected, but I'm still pretty floored by how shocked I was by Gone and how good that song was and how raw it was. I didn't think they would ever let her do something like that or pick that song for her right off the bat. You know, I thought it would take a while for that to kind of build up. So I thought that was an amazing solo debut. And I just wish that SM pushed Wendy and Joy's debuts a little harder, because I think particularly Wendy, I like Joy's album a lot, and I wish, even though it's a cover album and I kind of wish she had gotten original songs, I thought it was really good, but Wendy, some of the songs they put out on that album that aren't the title track are just really, 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 really good, and I wish that they, you know, put those out more. So, yeah.
What's that song by Wendy that I really like?
Oh, Why Can't You Just Love Me?
Oh my gosh. I listened to that song like endlessly when it came out
It's
because I
so
used to
good.
watch it's so good. I used to watch her performance, but the nature of that song is not something you could necessarily make with multiple people
That's
just
true.
because of the logistics of it and because of the sound, but just like when it's a group, there is a lot that goes into it. I think management and marketing and sticking to a cohesive image matters a lot, and it matters a significant amount more than with a solo artist. It matters the solo artist, but it's a huge deal when it's a group. So sometimes I don't think you can get as experimental with a group, especially sometimes in like K-pop. um, so yeah, I also think that's maybe why I think I gravitate towards solo artists. But yeah, I loved Wendy's debut. They should have pushed it harder. Don't know why they didn't.
They only gave her a week of promotions. That was whack. That was
Yeah,
whack.
there were so many debuts for soloists or just like solo acts from groups this year. And they were all very memorable. Like, I think that we had a great year for solo work. Like, I
Yeah.
love BI. I downloaded the whole album and I was listening to it on the way to the into the city the other day, and I was like, wow, this is fire. I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of
And
people being like K-pop's boring this year. I have to totally disagree. K-pop has been lit this year. Shiny
yeah,
came
like I
back.
think no, Shiny Comeback was literally me becoming a schwal was like definitely one of my favorite parts of this year.
Yeah, same.
And like like I'm telling you, it started with Don't Call Me, and then you hit like Heart Attack, and then you hit Code, and you got Kiss Kiss, and I was like, okay, hold up. How can every song be a pop? And I already knew the first Shiny song I ever heard was Ring Ding Dong, guys. Don't judge me for it. It's just a fact. But like Replay, like the discography, unmatched. But
And then on
okay,
top of
I'm
that,
getting
you get all of them being really good by themselves too. So it just makes
great soloists.
So, like you said, Skylar, I feel like once we get to see them branch off and do some things different, it almost makes you appreciate them coming together even more. So like that's why I've really liked what JYP's been doing with Stray Kids and Twice. And I hope they continue to do that because like I always liked Geo because that was Skylar's favorite, so I always kind of noticed her. She stuck out to me. And then that she did that really amazing cover of that Camila Cabello song where she like wiped the floor with her. And it just made me like really appreciate all the talent in Twice so much more. And sometimes I don't feel like you see that because they're so synchronized as a unit.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them too, but they're so synchronized as a unit that you almost see them as like extensions of each other.
Yeah.
So to see them shine individually made me really appreciate how strong the image of Twice is even more.
Yo, literally, we all know that when it came to 17, I was like, Woozy all the way. Hoshi is sneaking his way in because when Spider came out, I was obsessed. I was like, oh, I see the vision. Like, I see where this is going. He's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. Like, and especially because they're like 17 is such a large group too. And they have their subunits, but I just feel like to see them, you know, release like their own things, even if it is like a small collab, like the one that Mingyu and Wanwoo did, it's just nice to see them and like hear their specific voice in that music and like the image that they want to give to themselves. I'm like, yes, I appreciate this. Give me more content like this.
Skylar, is there anyone from a group yet you want to see debut solo?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lisa is going to be debuting, and honestly, I would like to see Mingi do his own thing from ATEEZ. Naturally, I'm excited for Mark to branch out because I've heard some of his like a solo song that he's performed on stage before. Really excited to see when he actually does, you know, put his solo work out.
Mark Lee, right?
Yeah, Mark Lee. And And wow, Sid's really holding it together.
Because why would you laugh?
We love Mark.
Sorry.
No, someone asked
Okay.
Mark Twan recently how much for feet pics, and he was like, "Next question."
That is so.
He got
And I was like,
He
I know
was on-
Bam
he was
Bam would have
on-
answered.
Bam Bam
True.
would have answered. Okay, speaking of solo debuts, Bam Bam's solo debut was fire.
We all come on. We should give a round of applause. Can they even hear that?
A round
Maybe
of
not.
applause. Yeah, they could hear
I
it.
hear you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they have this new noise suppression for Discord, and I think it eliminates like the sound of applause.
Oh, I heard it. I mean, it's
Oh.
kind of quiet, but I heard it.
Huh.
Anyways, shout out to Bam Bam. Also, Mark did go on IG Live last night and say that he is working on solo music, so we'll be getting more of Mark Twan soon.
Go
Yay!
Mark Twain. I'm excited. I hope he goes edgy. I know he has that in him from his younger days.
Oh
I
yeah,
just want to see what they're all doing. Like, I want to see Jin Young release like a solo work. I feel like it'd be very like, I don't know. I don't think it'd be like K-pop. I think it'd be like sad
I
music.
was out and
like
about and I saw
OST
Minnie got
music.
7
What? Where is this?
at the K-pop shop. And I was like, "It's Minnie got 7." I was like, "Who's
And you
that?"
didn't steal Bam Bam? Why
I know,
would you
I
not steal
should've.
Bam Bam from
I
me?
should have. I should have
That's
stolen.
like their song, or they're like shrinked versions of themselves.
Just right.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh, and then one more person I want to mention is Taeyong from NCT as
Yeah.
well. Mark, when you said Mark, it reminded me.
Mm.
Taeyong just put out that song with Solgi that was really good, and he's been writing songs since he was a trainee. And I would love to see him put out something. I mean, oh my god, everyone in NCT I'd actually like to see put out something solo, like 10. That would be sick.
Oh
Oh my
too.
god, 10. Well, Taeyong and 10's collab, Baby Don't Stop, is one of my favorite NCT songs, period.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Do Young? Do Young would be
love
cool.
that.
Do Young.
Oh, Do Young would hit
Obviously,
different.
Jihyo from Twice. I mean, tons of people. we'd like
Yeah.
to see.
For sure.